What up, Ho Biscuits? It's your girl Skitten, back at it again. We are well into the new year and I still haven't figured out how to properly angle this damn camera. I personally don't believe really in New Year's resolutions per se, but I do like to set goals for my year. So this year my goal is to get a one of my goals, I should say, is to get a skinny pack by my birthday, and so to that end, Chavez and I have really been just kind of regulating what we eat a lot more, because you know, in the holiday season, like your girl likes to chow down a little bit, okay? So but really just regulating my diet a bit more. We've been going to the gym. I've been doing daily crunches and kickouts. Fingers crossed that this motivation stays all the way through till my birthday. It's a little bit hard for me to get motivated in the winter time because I'm just like, but I'm cold and all I want to do is either be in a hot bath, be in a hot shower, or be sitting wrapped up in a blanket drinking hot cocoa / coffee / some form of liquor. So with all of that said, let me know down below if you have any goals for 2020 or any resolutions, or even just like little things that you just want to try to start doing to just make like your daily life better. I've been trying to wake up like just 15 minutes earlier just so that I'm not like rushing around, you know, to like get to work or get to my appointments or whatever. Now, am I succeeding at getting up 15 minutes earlier? Not necessarily, but I'm trying, and that's what counts. Anti-Hoosin, another one of my goals for this year is to stop being so terrified of things that are not actively trying to harm me. As so many of you pointed out in the comments on my last whale video, whales aren't gonna hurt you. A whale can't actually swallow you. You're so dumb to be afraid of whales. Shut up! Okay, I get it. I know that my irrational fear that I called an irrational fear in the video is in fact an irrational fear, but I do want to try to be less afraid of whales, mostly so I can stop having nightmares about being eaten by a whale. Like, that's just 0% productive. Sorry, that glare is just really irritating to me. But just 0% productive. So I'd rather be afraid of real things like SCPs. Ha 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 ha. So I decided to watch this video called What If There Were No Whales on Earth, because maybe the consequences of not having whales will terrify me into actually really liking whales and not being afraid of them. Somebody sent me this video on Twitter. Shouts out to you, homie, and let's get started. 3, 2, 1, play.
Hey there.
Oh, that was catchy.
Whales are the biggest creatures in the history of our planet. Their influence on not only nature, but also humanity and our culture is equally as huge. I think they're cool. I love them so much, in fact, you could call me the Prince of Whales. Or not. Anyway, you wouldn't think their existence would affect our life, but let's see what the world would look like if there were no whales. Well, let's take a moment to appreciate the coolest representative of this species. The blue whale is the largest and heaviest creature that's ever lived on Earth. Yes, much bigger than any dinosaur you can imagine. It's as long as a Boeing 737 and as heavy as 4 of them. The longest blue whale ever measured was just shy of 110 feet, longer than the distance between the bases on a baseball diamond. It weighs up to 200 tons. That's about 30 African elephants, the largest land creature today. Just the tongue of a whale weighs as much as 2 hippos, and 100 people could fit inside its mouth.
These facts are not helping with my fear at all, just so you guys know.
We tried that once at the company party, but we could only get 74 people in the whale's mouth before, you know, he swallowed them. Man, lost the whole sales team too. Not really. Actually, with such a huge size, the blue whale is one of the most harmless creatures in the ocean. There haven't been any blue whale attacks on humans recorded in the past 100 years. So you'd probably be safe swimming next to one. And I know you'd be surprised by how small their eyes are compared to that massive body. They're only about the size of a grapefruit. There are all kinds of whale species, and they're all divided into 2 groups, baleen and tooth. Obviously, the toothed kind have teeth.
As everyone also kept pointing out to me in the video, that's not a whale, that's actually a dolphin. Because I took a 5th grade zoology, so I know the difference. I wanted to be a marine biologist when I was 12, so I know the difference.
And they tend to be hunters. Baleen whales have toothbrush-like combs instead of teeth. And they live on tiny organisms like plankton and krill.
Ugh,
So
they look
again,
like those
if you're ever
spiders.
swimming next to a whale and checking out its eyeballs, please check if it has teeth first.
Ah!
All right, whales are fascinating, but let's get back to the question at hand. A world without all whales entirely, starting with our own history. In ancient times, and I wasn't around then, people believed that 3 huge whales carry our planet on their backs. The
Oh,
whales
okay.
swam across the endless ocean of life. Of course, that was before astronomers discovered that the Earth floats in space and revolves around the sun, thanks solely to our star's gravitational pull.
I mean,
But still,
maybe.
the concept of
Maybe there's still whales and y'all niggas just can't see them. Maybe they're invisible. Did you ever think that maybe the galaxy whales were invisible? Did you ever think that maybe galaxy whales don't want to be seen by y'all?
3 whales has become a popular fairy tale. And if there were no whales, then what would people come up with? Does the Earth stand on huge walruses? Sharks? 3 elephants on a turtle? Oh yeah,
There's already a turtle thing.
that one also existed. Well, anyway, what about those tales of sailors coming to an island only to find out it's the back of a whale? The
Ha!
concept and visuals make for a great plot in all kinds of films and books. On that note, if there were no whales, the whaling ship Essex would never have encountered an enormous sperm whale. These events wouldn't have inspired Herman Melville to write one of the greatest books of the 19th century,
Is this where I confess as an English major that I've never read Moby Dick and I'm probably never going to read Moby Dick?
Moby Dick. So what? It's just an old book. Hey, not so fast. Do you remember that Starbucks is named after one of the novel's characters?
Nope.
Remember Starbuck, the first maid on the ship and one of
Nope.
the main characters in the story?
Nope.
Skip that day in literature class, eh?
Yes.
Well, no whales, no Starbucks. Okay, fine. Maybe the coffee shop would go by a different name. It wasn't only the true story of the Essex that inspired Melville to write Moby Dick. The author actually worked on a whaling ship and caught whales for a long time. Why? Because humanity had been doing it for thousands of years and nobody thought any different. People began hunting whales for their fat, which was used for fuel in oil lamps. That oil was also used to make soaps and cosmetics.
Yep.
Without whales, would humanity have found a different source, or would we have never discovered soap at all? P.U.
Well, I mean, you can make lye from things other than whale fat, so I think we would probably still have soap.
Baleen was a must-have back in the whaling days, also known as whalebone. Those bristly things were used to make ropes, nets, dishes, clothes. It was pretty much as popular as plastic is today.
Oh,
Fashion would
okay.
have taken a completely different path. Without whalebone, we wouldn't have come up with corsets.
I was gonna say, I know whalebone was used for corsets.
Become the fashionable trend. Maybe pear shapes would be the beauty standard. Let me know down in the comments any other ways you imagine the world would change if we didn't have whales. But mostly, it had to have been the effect on the food chain and the rich sea life. Without orcas, we'd have a lot more sea lions, squids, and walruses. And if there were more sea lions, then the number of all crustaceans and mollusks will noticeably decrease, since these blubbery creatures live on that crunchy stuff. A lobster lunch is already pricey, but without whales, it'll become even more expensive.
Which is weird because first of all, lobster used to be the food of poor people, and second of all, lobster is gross. It is not good. I have tried it in I want to say 1,000 different forms, but honestly, I've tried it in like 4 different forms, and it was not good anytime. It was not good anytime. Maybe I'm just not having the right lobster, but that ish is not good. Like, Beyonce's like, when he fuck me good, I take his ass to Red Lobster. And I was just like, why? Like, why don't you love your man more? But then I realized she's married to Jay-Z, so obviously he doesn't deserve any better than Red Lobster.
Seafood will be a luxury. Even ordinary fish will feel the consequences. Blue whales feed on tiny krill. When a whale goes to the bathroom, let's stop for a second and imagine that. Whoa, that's a big one. Anyway, it provides phytoplankton with their food source. Phytoplankton feed ordinary fish. Those little fish get eaten by bigger fish, and so on. Circle of life, right? Phytoplankton also play a major role in keeping greenhouse gases at bay. They help remove carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. In a world without whales, this entire planet could be a lot hotter. If whales disappear, the ocean will also lose singing. Whales, birds, bats, and humans are the only creatures on Earth who can sing. Male whales sing songs to attract females, and females sing lullabies to reassure their offspring. The incredible thing is that each song is unique. It's never repeated. The sound of these songs span thousands of miles all around. There are so few sounds in the ocean, so without whales, it'll become one of the quietest places on the planet. By the way, if there weren't any whales, there wouldn't be dolphins either. If we're talking about whales never having even existed. Dolphins, as well as porpoises, are a type of whale. In fact, that tooth kind, meaning orcas, are actually large dolphins.
Yes, we know.
If there are no whales, then who will become the largest creature on Earth? That's
sharks.
Right, the African elephant.
Oh, I thought they meant in the ocean, and I was like, sharks!
However, if whales had never existed as a species, then the African elephant would probably have competitors, or bigger family reunions. Yep, elephants and whales are related. I'm sure you know whales aren't fish. They're mammals that happen to live in the ocean. They don't have gills, and they can't breathe underwater. These animals take in air through the blowhole on their heads every 15 to 30 minutes, depending on the species. By the way, the tooth kind only have one blowhole, but baleen whales have two. There's another way you can tell the difference. Anyway, here's the theory. Millions of years ago, I wasn't around then, the
Thanks for that clarification. Definitely thought you were millions of years old.
Animals that whales would later come from actually walked on land. They look like huge pigs or hippos, and the hippos you know today do share a common ancient ancestor with whales, along with other hoofed beings like cows, deers, giraffes, and sheep. These pre-whale pigs lived near the ocean. They kept getting driven closer and closer to the water by dangerous predators coming into their territory. Well, eventually, they had no other choice than to jump into the water and start a new life as aquatic mammals.
Wow, that is really condensing the concept, but you know, it's good. It's a good summary. They said, fuck it, I'm gonna go live on the beach, nigga.
Okay, it didn't quite go like that. It took millions and millions of years for this evolutionary process to happen. But over time, their hooves and limbs would be replaced with fins. In fact, whales and dolphins still have hip bones today. They don't use them or anything. They're just there and slowly disappearing, much like tailbones on humans.
Right.
And what if those prehistoric piggies hadn't taken to the water? We could have pigs the size of a house rolling out around in the mud.
Oh, hell
Humongous
no.
hippos.
Because apparently pigs be eating everything, including people, so hell the fuck no.
Would be the king of all the savannas. It's hard to say, but probably unlikely that they'd be any bigger than they are now. And that's because gravity isn't as strong when you're in the water. Whales don't feel their enormous weight because they don't rely on their limbs to hold them up.
Right,
this
that makes
allowed
sense.
these animals to become so huge.
Ugh.
That and metabolism slows down in cold water versus on land. As a result, whales accumulated more fat and became so massive. As for the last factor, there were probably fewer dangers for whales in the water, so they could multiply and evolve almost without obstacles. And wasn't that a whale of a tale? Hey, if you learned something new today, then give the video a like and share it with a...
Okay, so what y'all are telling me is that whales are important to the ecosystem or whatever. So fine. I will accept that they may or may not be necessary, but I don't have to like them. And that's that on that. Peace out, Hope Biscuits. It's getting lit.